The subcompact SUV space in India is one of the fastest growing and one of the most popular segments in the country for car makers. And the Maruti Suzuki Vitara Brezza is the undisputed champion of this space, and it has been for a long time. Now, a lot of players, including the Ford EcoSport that created the segment, have tried unsettling it, but to no avail. But finally, there's a new player which has been hyped a lot, and that's the Mahindra XUV300. So can Mahindra finally deliver a product that can change the dynamics of this segment and maybe beat the market leader Maruti Suzuki in this segment? Well, that's what we're going to find out on the show today. Now, if you look at the front profile, you have this premium looking chrome studded grille, and of course there are these sleek looking headlamps. Now, the headlamp unit has got a very unique shape, and if you are someone who has played the game Tomb Raider or has seen the movie Tomb Raider, this design would remind you of the axe that Lara Croft uses. If you look further, you'll find the lower part of the bumper. Again, it's got these chrome elements and of course the aluminum finish in the lower part. Now you combine all of this, all of these elements put together give it a good premium value. It makes the vehicle look upmarket when you see the XUV300 coming. Now the same sharp and edgy approach to design that we talked about up front continues on the side. Now talking about lines, well, it's got a very strong line up here which runs right up from the hood. If you talk about the wheel arches, again they're flared up but neatly done in a subtle manner. They aren't overdone. Again, moving to the rear, you can see it's got this trademark XUV family design line here, which will remind you of the XUV500 also. So yes, that XUV lineage is there in the design, and of course there's this dual color roof with a floating roof effect. Add to this sharp looking 17-inch alloy wheels which fill up the wheel arches pretty well and are equipped with 215 section rubber, which again looks good and gives good grip as well. Now once you move to the rear, the edgy proportions again continue here as well. You've got a very smart looking sharp tail lamp unit at the back. Now this is a LED unit, looks good especially in the dark. And of course, if you look at the tailgate design, again there are a lot of sharp contours and edges. In the lower part of the bumper, again it's a dual color bumper, so you've got a black part with an aluminium skid plate. So combine all of these things, and overall when you put them together, the design on each element goes along well with the other elements, and that's a good thing about the XUV300. Not anywhere you will find something that sticks out as if it's not merging with the rest of the design. So overall, it's a thumbs up from our end when it comes to the design of the XUV300. Now once you step inside the cabin of the XUV300, and instantly you're greeted to a very upmarket and a nice looking pleasant cabin. Now it features the very trendy dual tone color dashboard. Here you've got a black top and a light colored lower part, and of course there's the center console which houses a 7-inch color touchscreen. Now this touchscreen gives you access to Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, Bluetooth connectivity. It's also got inbuilt navigation with 3D maps, and it also comes with Mahindra's BlueSense app, which lets you access a lot of exclusive features. Now in addition to that, if you talk about the screen itself in terms of touch response, the touch response is fairly good, and the visibility too, even under direct sunlight, is quite nice. So in terms of convenience, in terms of user interface, definitely it gets a big thumbs up. Now the only thing that I feel could have been a little better is the design of the center console. The material and everything is nice, but it just doesn't feel that premium. It just leaves a bit to be desired of, but nonetheless it is loaded with features that comes with the first in segment dual zone air conditioning system, your dual zone climate control, and also if you talk about the instrument cluster, again it's a neatly done unit with a digital TFT screen in the center which gives you all information that you would expect from a vehicle these days, and it also gives you access to tire pressure monitoring system. Now talking further about segment first features, well, there are a lot in this car. Now one of them is a seat belt reminder system for all seats, and this is something which is very nice in terms of safety. This is something that should be done in more cars in India. And apart from that, you also have a smart watch connectivity. So if you have a smartwatch, which unfortunately I don't right now, if you have it, again you can connect it with the system and you can access a lot of information on your watch itself. So if you include this and also the fact that you have a sunroof here, a good looking steering wheel, you get cruise control, audio controls, telephone control, so all of these features, and what you get is a cabin that is richly equipped with features. No other car in this segment offers you this many features. Now moving to the rear seat of the Mahindra XUV300, well, it is a spacious car despite being a sub 4 meter, a subcompact SUV. There's a lot of space in it, and as you can see with the driver's seat adjusted to my height, which is 5 feet 8 inches for reference, well, there's a lot of space I have, a lot of leg room I have to spare, and of course there's space under the seat so I can slide my feet in and have a comfortable posture. In terms of headroom too, again, it's quite decent, and that means that even if you are someone who's tall, you can be in this place without any struggle for space. And the seat also again is quite good. The cushioning is good, the under thigh support is good, there's a center armrest with cup holders, so even if you're here for a long drive, this place is quite a comfortable one. In terms of practicality, again, there's a lot of space to put in 1 liter bottles and a lot of other stuff in the door pockets. The same story is on the front door as well. Again, you can easily place water bottles and a lot of stuff. You can also put in bottles here within these, so different things in different places. So a lot of smart storage options around the cabin, and when you put all of this together, what you get is a very spacious, comfortable, refined and practical cabin. It's also time to discuss what are the shortcomings in the cabin of the XUV300, and well, to start with, there is no rear AC vent. Now that is a bit of a downer for me because the car is not really small, it is a decently sized cabin, and while the AC does a good job, if you're living in the northern parts of the country, it can get really hot, and this is something that I think should have been there. In addition to that, the interior, again, it's got a lot of light color running around, which gives it the airy feel, but maintaining it in the long term could be a bit bothersome. And also, if you talk about the speaker, the sound quality, it's decent, but I think there is still scope for improvement. But apart from this, it's pretty much spot on. Alright, so now let's talk about the engine options and the driving experience of the XUV300. Well, for starters, what you get is a petrol and a diesel engine. You get a 1.2 liter petrol engine with a power output of 110 horsepower and a 1.5 liter common rail diesel engine with a power output of 115 horsepower and 300 newton meters of torque. Now the diesel is the one that we are driving today. We haven't driven the petrol, so we'll talk about the diesel engine. Now the common rail pressure in this engine is a high 1600 bar, and that is one of the many reasons why the engine is able to develop 115 horsepower from a displacement of just 1.5 liters. It also has a variable geometry turbocharger, so that of course helps things. Now in terms of NVH insulation, well, the engine is really very nice. When you start it up, there is of course the diesel clatter, but once you're on the go, the cabin is very refined. The good thing about this engine is that it has got a very flat torque curve. Now what this means in your day-to-day driving experience is that because you have torque available from as low as 1500 RPM and you don't have to really rev up too high, that means that in everyday driving cycles you don't have to change gears frequently. You won't be finding yourself downshifting again and again to get the vehicle going, and that is one very good thing, especially if you're going to drive this in the city traffic. Now in terms of performance, well, the engine offers a very healthy performance. The acceleration is brisk and reaching triple digit speeds, and holding on to it is not a problem at all. This also means that when you're out on the highway, carrying out overtaking maneuvers is not a problem. You will never feel short of power, and because the 6-speed manual gearbox has been matched to the engine quite well, the power delivery is quite nice and you're able to use more power from the engine and make more use of it. As of now, Mahindra is not going to offer an automatic transmission, and that is a bit of a downer for me. Now, while a 6-speed manual is a good thing, but in today's time where subcompact SUVs appeal mostly to buyers in the urban setup, having an automatic transmission is quite an important thing from the word go. Now, one of the areas where the XUV300 really shines is safety. It comes with 7 airbags. Apart from that, we don't have the variant list, but I can tell you that even on base variants, it will come with ABS, EBD and dual airbags as standard. Now, on the top variants, the extra safety features that you will get include ESP, so that is going to help you in terms of traction, and of course you also get a hill start assist, and you have heated ORVMs, so that will help you in terms of visibility when especially during winter and when you have got fog. So in terms of safety, yes, the XUV300 not only is there up with the segment leaders, but it right now sets a new benchmark. Now, one good thing here is the reverse parking system. It has a display and it also has dynamic guidelines with modes that help you park, that help you choose between parallel or normal parking. So yes, that is something that proves to be very helpful, especially in those tight parking spots. In addition to the reverse parking system, you also get a segment first front parking sensors. Now, this is something which comes in handy again in tight parking spots. So you will get an audio beep in case there is an obstruction just in front of the vehicle and if you're moving at slow speeds. In terms of ride and handling, well, the XUV300 is again not just up there with the competition, but it is one of the best handling cars. Now, the reason for this, well, there are many, but first and foremost is the fact that it has the longest wheelbase and it has the widest track in its segment. As a result of the extra width, you get more stability around corners, and yes, it also comes with 215 section of rubber, which proves in handy. If you talk about the chassis itself, the mechanical grip, well, again, the suspension setup is quite nice. It's not very firm, but yes, it's not soft either. The body roll is pretty much in control unless you're really going to throw her around the corners. Mahindra has again given one more segment first feature here, and that is steering modes. So what you can do is that you can basically choose between different steering modes. Now, what this does is you get 3 steering modes, wherein one is comfort. So as the name suggests, the steering is light, you don't have to put in much effort, and around corners too, it does not weigh up too much. If you change the mode and you go into normal, again, like the name suggests, it's normal, and sport is when you want to have fun, the steering weighs up nicely, it becomes more dynamic, and combine that with good handling and a powerful engine, and what you get is a subcompact SUV that you can really have fun in. Now, with all these features, the last question that remains to be answered is how much do you need to pay for it? Well, the vehicle has not been launched yet, so we can't tell you the prices yet, and the company has not even revealed what kind of variants packaging they'll be coming out with. But what I can tell you right now is that if Mahindra manages to smartly package its variant lineup and price them comparatively, there's a good chance the XUV300 can go on to become one of the top selling cars in its segment and for the company overall as well.